Hello, welcome to Cooking with Gina. My name is Gina Virginia Casella. Today I'm just feeling like something nostalgic, something that doesn't take a lot of effort to make. And one of the things that I love about cooking is that you can play around with things like pasta and rice and really make each dish unique in its own way. So, something I like to fall back on is just pasta with butter on it and peas. It's one of my favorite dishes. Usually I make it with spaghetti, but today I feel like the combination of pasta and potatoes. So I like to use the macaroni noodles because they're smaller. Sometimes I use the shell noodles if I have them on hand. And I'm using the mini potatoes because they're tasty. And when I look at my yam and my other potatoes, these ones aren't going bad by any means, but I get the sense that these should be eaten before the other ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my water boiling and I'm going to start chopping things up. So I've washed my potatoes. I've got about 8 mini potatoes here. I'm going to cut them up probably into like, I don't know, 12 or 16 pieces each. I want them to intentionally be small and bite size. And I'm just filling my sink up here with some nice warm soapy water. Whenever I'm spending time in the kitchen, I just like having nice hot soapy water in the sink as a go-to. And I like to keep the kitchen clean. There's always going to be those nights where I have dishes on the counter, but for what it's worth, it's really discouraging when there's dirty dishes in the sink and you have to scrub the pots. And so I like to clean as I go. I like to stay motivated, and I always like to treat my home kind of like a customer service role, like you're closing the store down for the night. And I've worked a lot of customer service in my life, and that's something that really resonated with me, right? Like we provide so many other people with phenomenal customer service, like, keeping things clean. Like if you worked in a restaurant, you would never, ever, your employer would have to talk to you about leaving dirty dishes out. And so, why would you do that at home? So I apply those concepts to myself, and I'm really excited about today. I'm going to be cooking the potatoes and the pasta in the same pot. And so the potatoes take longer, so I'm going to get busy with those first. And my water, I just turned it on high right now, and I'm using the big pot. I thought about using green split peas, but you know what? I've been eating a lot of green split peas and lentils lately, and I remembered that I have green peas in the freezer, so I'm looking forward to today's meal. So I'm just slicing away the mini potatoes here. And I always wonder, like, is this not enough? Do I have enough food with me? Is this going to be enough for dinner, enough for leftovers? And I was wondering if you're like me, maybe you end up making too much food. um, but I'm also wondering for families out there, how do you stretch things out? Um, if you're wondering, I intentionally left the potato skins on here. Some of the potatoes that are a bit bigger, I'm slicing them. I'm slicing all of the potatoes in half lengthwise. And then depending on the size of the potato, I'm slicing it again into 2 or 3, because again, I want small bites. I want to eat this with a spoon. And I was just thinking about my love for spaghetti noodles with butter, some garlic powder, salt, pepper, keep it really simple. And then I add peas. But I also love to do just corn, or I'll have days where I do peas and corn. Um, Sometimes I'll put a lot of chili pepper in there. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll add spinach. I grew up eating a lot of spaghetti with tomato sauce, but I don't know. As an adult these days, I find that I just kind of like a little spoonful of sauce on the side. And I'm wondering about you. How do you enjoy your potatoes? How do you enjoy your pasta? What are your go-tos? Let me know in the comments. So I was just thinking about potatoes. Today, like I said, I'm using the mini yellow potatoes. I've made this with different kinds of potatoes throughout my life. And, what's interesting is I grew up in Ontario, and something I took for granted were the PEI potatoes, because when I moved to BC, I was like, where's the PEI potatoes? And I just thought maybe they were out. I went to multiple grocery stores. I thought, oh, maybe I just can't find it. And then I started asking around, and nobody knew what I was talking about. And then one day, one of the grocery clerks was telling me that, oh, yeah, PEI potatoes, that's like a Ontario thing. That's a maritime thing. And in BC, it just never dawned on me. All the produce not all of it, but a lot of the produce in Ontario comes from Florida, like all of the oranges, whereas in BC, that stuff comes from California. And so I just thought, oh, yes, okay, like I didn't realize these things. And my mom was sharing a story with me years ago where my uncle had a girlfriend who lived way up north, and she would come to Southern Ontario specifically just to get PEI potatoes because they weren't in her community. Maybe she wasn't from up north. I don't remember exactly, but the more rural communities you go to, you just don't have the same fruits and vegetable varieties that you do in the big cities. And, for what it's worth, I grew up in Timmins, and Timmins is a small city, but in that area, in the James Bay area, Timmins is like a big city. And so I never realized that when I lived there, and when I moved away, it really resonated with me. So anyways, when I'm cooking, I just have all these thoughts that come to my mind, and I'm wondering what thoughts come to your mind. I also was kind of tempted to throw this in a frying pan just because I'm on the hungry side and I want to eat. And I still have some mini potatoes left over. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Maybe I'll shred them and make hash browns. I don't know. I just really love cooking and experiencing presence. I get into the now, and I'm wondering about you. What brings you joy? How do you get into the now? How do you experience the present moment? So when I took the peas out of the freezer, I also forgot that I had these little tasty peanut butter bars that I made. They're vegan. So if you're like me, moving to the vegan lifestyle, it's a big change, and it's manageable. It's just figuring out the products, and I'll have to show you on a different day how to make these. So I'm wondering if you like to snack when you eat. Do you sometimes have dessert before dinner? And I'd love to know in the comments. So my water is at a full boil. I'm just gonna reduce the heat. Still getting used to this oven. I'm gonna reduce it to 7. Usually I reduce it to 8. When I was cooking the items the other day, the things that were needing more time, I found I had to reduce it to number 3. So still figuring it out. Put my potatoes in there. And I used to be really big on salting my water. I don't do that anymore. I just like the taste of fresh salt. I'm going to get my wooden spoon to keep an eye on this, and I'll be right back when it's time to add the pasta. I just want to let you know too that the mini potatoes, I don't remember what the name brand was that I'm using. They're just at most grocery stores in BC and Ontario. There's the mini yellow potatoes, and then there's the one that have the red skins on it. And this was just I think they're just called mini yellow potatoes, but I don't remember the name brand. I'm not being endorsed by any of the brands that I share, just sharing with you what I'm using. What are you using? Let me know in the comments. Wanted to let you know what I'm drinking today. I'm sipping on some water, and last night I added 3 tea bags to my jug. I change up my tea bags, and this one here is Tazo. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it properly, and it's Berry Blossom White. So again, I'm not being endorsed by these products. If these products would like to endorse me, that would be awesome. Send me free product. I'll use it. It's got to be vegan though, and if I'm using something that isn't vegan, please kindly let me know in the comments. Recently, I bought some cheese from Laughing Cow. It's not vegan, it's plant-based, and that was my mistake when I bought it. And I'm still going to use it at some point, food appreciation. But if you do notice I'm using something that's not vegan, please let me know, because I'm a newbie at being vegan. And initially I was really hungry. I didn't know what to do. Ingredients were limited in the kitchen I'm in, and magic is happening, as you can see. And this is actually my 10th episode. I forgot to mention that. So happy 1-0. 1 plus 0 is 1. If you're into numerology, we're all 1. And I think that's fitting with this vegan theme. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. And I'm also wondering, have you ever thought about making videos and posting them on YouTube? I just love living vicariously through others. It's always kind of a laugh for me watching other people just chop up potatoes and whatnot. Me, I'm just keeping it real here. I don't have a fancy manicure or anything like that. And oh well, that's all part of me being authentic. OATH is an oath that I've taken to be open, authentic, to be thankful, to honor holy instances. And I'm wondering about you. What are some rules or one-liners that you live your life by? Let me know in the comments. Really would like to hear it. Oh, and cheers. It's nice. It has like a berry taste to it. Um, it looks like blueberries, but it says huckleberry with white cranberry. It's really good. You know what else was really good was that dessert bar that I had. And I'm tempted to have another one, but I'm going to wait for my dinner because I know that my dinner is going to be phenomenal and I just can't wait to get into it. So I'm just waiting for the potatoes here, and I was thinking about, junk food and chips because Halloween is approaching. We're the end of September right now, and I'm wondering what are vegan Halloween options. I know Doritos has the chili flavored Doritos. I mean, they're not healthy by any means, but they are a vegan option. And I'm wondering what other junk food is vegan food. I know there's some popcorn out there with like this yeast cheese imitation. I'm personally not too big on it. It might just be the way that I've been having it. Let me know because I love junk food. I love to snack on things. And I'm wondering what do vegans hand out for Halloween? That's tasty. What are other good chips and nacho type stuff? And what about like nacho cheese? I'm on the hunt for a good vegan cheese. Something that I meant to mention earlier. Traditionally, when I have pasta and peas or some kind of spaghetti, I always add butter to it, but I always like to put some Parmesan cheese, and I haven't had Parmesan cheese probably in the last month. I've been vegan for the past, I don't know, few weeks now, and I was vegetarian, if you will, most of the summer. I did have some chicken at a buffet recently, and I find the more that I'm transitioning, I don't want to have meat. My body just doesn't seem to want it. And the past few years, actually, I've been struggling with meat. I had a severe panic attack back in 2021, and I just the struggle is real. Like it would just dawn on me, and I think after the severe panic attack, all my senses really heightened, and I already am a sensitive person. So I'm wondering about you. I'm wondering if you can relate. I also found that my teeth became extra sensitive, and so I'm a bit of a chip monster. But after the severe panic attack, even eating something crunchy like chips or nuts, it took me a while to eat that stuff again. I had to eat foods that were softer, and you know, I'm sharing this with you because it's going out to my soul tribe, right? If you're taking an interest in me and what I'm doing, it's probably because in a past life we were connected somehow, and that's why you're resonating with me. So I really appreciate you watching Cooking with Gina. And we're a story species, so stories are important. Stories are medicine. When you give a story, you're giving medicine. When you're receiving a story, you're receiving medicine. Whether you need that story or not, it's a tool that you just tuck into your social emotional wellness toolkit. And who knows, maybe you won't even use that story. Maybe you'll be the one to share it and pass it along. So I'm interested if Cooking with Gina has come up in your conversations. Maybe you're like, yeah, I was watching Cooking with Gina and I saw her do this. And, maybe that's something that you might consider. Or I'm wondering if you've attempted any of the recipes that I've shown. And I will be making a cookbook. I'm just going to wait for it to pile up a little bit. And in my cookbook, I'm not going to be saying 1 cup of this, 2 tablespoons of that, because that's the beauty of cooking. I'm just going to show you the picture, give it a name, and then tell you what the ingredients are. And so it's nice to have a hard copy. Everything is online these days. So I'm wondering, how about you? What are you cooking up in your kitchen? What cookbooks do you use? And speaking of books, I published 4 books and I've got a lifetime more. I've got 2 more ready to go. I just need to read them over. I've been on the busy side, 3D realities here. And it's called Dragon Dreams. And it's all about my personal life and my dream life, bridging those together. I'm really big on spirituality. I'm a spiritual biz entrepreneur. And I'm wondering if any of this resonates with you. I'm interested in folks who are reading Dragon Dreams. I got my first paycheck from Amazon KDP maybe a week ago or so. So that was really exciting. And you can order it on Amazon.ca. Just Google my name or under Amazon.ca, Gina Virginia Casella, Dragon Dreams, and I come up. And there's 4 books there. The first book, it sets you up for the rest of the series. And it's about me and my struggle in this transition of having a severe panic attack. It's a full disclosure. And then it's about my spirit guides. So coming out of the spiritual closet was pretty big time in my life. And like I was saying, stories are medicine. And so I'm really thankful for all of the people who came out of the spiritual closet before myself and who are role modeling that it's okay to have a spiritual side and to talk about the ghosties. And it doesn't mean that, you're weird or there's something wrong with you. In fact, I think the more weird we are, the more normal we are or mainstream. And I don't want to get hung up on vocabularies because we're all one, right? And that's what this episode is. It's episode number 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. As I'm waiting for the potatoes to boil, I was wondering, a lot of people, they like to put multiple ingredients in a crock pot and they just turn it on and let it sit. So they'll put like sauce in there with noodles. And I'm not too big on those recipes. I typically like to boil the noodles separately. But when I make pasta and peas, it's like an exception where I do it all in one pot. And I'm wondering if you can relate. If you have a crock pot recipe, put it in the comments because I'd love to try it. And I was just thinking that might be something really cool to do on Cooking with Gina, because it's cooking with, right? With Gina. So it'd be really cool if somebody out there in the comments was like, hey, Gina, this is what I do. And then I could take that recipe and then make it my own. I can change it up a little bit and just really love to think, pair, share it up. Throughout my teaching career, that's something that I always enjoyed was professional development, which I always advocated is simultaneously personal development, because when you're doing a career that you're really passionate about, that's in alignment with your integrity, then really going to work as a form of play, and that's the best case scenario. And so speaking of play, I'm now a RTT, I'm a rapid transformational therapist, hypnotherapist. And I keep telling people that because I don't want to sell a modality, like a spiritual biz entrepreneur does not sell modalities. It's just, I feel like, if you're wondering what I do and what the structure is, it's called RTT. It was created by Marissa Peer. And there's a lot of other language being used out there, transformational therapy. And so that's what I do. And I just share that with you because maybe it will help you make sense a little bit about who I am. I was also born and raised Roman Catholic. My perspective has greatly shifted since my childhood. I'm not religious, but definitely spiritual. And again, I'm not hung up on categories or modalities, but I share that with people, with folks out there, form and formless, because when you hear this information, you start to understand my schema and my ways of thinking, and why I might think and feel a certain way. And I'm open to change. It's all part of alchemy. We're always alchemizing, just like the cooking recipes. And so I really love what I do. It was hard to let go of my teaching career, but I've moved on now and I'm really happy. And Cooking with Gina, it's, I never thought I would do something like this. And that's what foraging is all about. It's not just foraging in the kitchen, it's foraging life. And something that I do as a rapid transformational therapist is I regress folks. So we go back in time. Time is an illusion, but you know what I mean. And something that I prohibit is going into the future, because I don't believe in that. Nothing in the future is certain, because the only thing that matters is the now, the present moment, because it determines the next present moment. And so it's just like cooking. Like, I can forge the future thinking about what I'm going to make, but all that really matters right now are my potatoes boiling and making sure that the house isn't catching on fire. Right. And I'm just really interested if you can relate to anything that I'm saying in the comments, because cooking for me is just something that I do. It comes naturally to me. It brings me joy. And when I was reorganizing my life, transitioning from the teaching profession, transitioning into entrepreneurship, transitioning into being a spiritual biz entrepreneur, I I thought about cooking, but I never thought it would be something that I do on YouTube. So it's pretty cool. I want to know if you can relate. Let me know. So I need to find a fine balance of when it's a good time to add the pasta noodles. The pasta noodles, typically they need a good 8 to 10 minutes. I find Barilla, I'm not being endorsed by them. Barilla, if you want to endorse me, that'd be awesome. Barilla, I find they cook a lot faster. So I feel like my potatoes are kind of half soft right now, and so it's a good time for me to add the pasta. So I'm going to just turn the camera here. And lately, whoa. Okay, there we go. All right, everything is okay. The camera just lost its balance there. I'm only going to add about half a pack. Usually, well, lately when I've been cooking, I've just been cooking the whole pack. But the person that I cook for isn't going to be here tomorrow, so I don't want as many leftovers. And I enjoyed a nice big tomato sandwich. I was going to just put half a tomato. I ended up putting the full tomato. It was really good. So anyways, here I go. And then what will I do with the rest of this? I don't know. Maybe I'll make a macaroni salad tomorrow out of it, a cold salad. I'll figure it out. And I'm also going to add my peas, but not until like the pasta is almost cooked. So that's my little strategy. And because I've added the pasta in here, I have a habit of adding oil to the water. But I'm finding with the Barilla noodles, I don't have to do that. I don't have to add water or butter. It seems to be fine. So just mindfulness that I'm stirring it to make sure that the pasta isn't sticking together. I know a lot of you out there watching this, listening to this, you have your own tips and tricks. I'd love to hear about them in the comments. Some of you are watching this because it just brings you joy, and I appreciate that. Some of you, I know you're watching this because you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do for dinner. I don't know what to do for leftovers. I don't know how to manage my food, my money. So all these little tips and tricks are going out to you folks. And I'd love to hear tips and tricks from you as well. And I'd also love to hear any funny stories, or just maybe you tried to make something and you just totally bombed it. Or maybe you thought you bombed it and it turned out to be like one of the best meals ever. So let me know in the comments. It's all about relating. I'm having a moment where it's like, should I have added that whole box? I don't know. But you know what? I'm not going to add any more noodles to this. And if I'm still hungry, or if I feel like it's not enough food by the time this is done, the good news is I've got bread in the freezer and I can easily toast it and make garlic bread. Right now in this moment, I don't want to do that. I just want to dig in with my spoon when this is ready. Can you relate? Let me know. And I'm also just kind of dreaming and fantasizing like, oh, maybe I could transform this into a soup. Maybe I'll keep the broth. If I wanted to, I have some little bit of salsa left over. I could add that to make it like a soup, or I could just, after I strain it, add it to the potato pasta. And so there's so many journeys to the mind, and that's what I love about foraging. And that's why you don't want to get hung up on an end point. You always want to stay flexible. So when we're setting goals, we want to work with linear time and set goals. So we have a beginning, a middle, and end, and we can stay focused on reaching a target, if you will, a goal. But we have to be flexible for change, and that's just like cooking is being flexible. And if you've been tuning in to Cooking with Gina, I tend to change my mind throughout the whole thing. And I was watching, just for my own reflective practice, I was watching yesterday's video where I made, what did I make? I made 2 kinds of rice with the split pea lentils. Oh, that was good. And I overate yesterday. I couldn't help it. It was so tasty, when something just hits the spot. And anyways, in the video, I noticed I was referring to the green pepper as a green onion. So there's some cognitive dissonance for you when you're just having like brain farts. And I'm wondering if you can relate. Even though I'm having a good time in a positive way, I feel the stress about videoing myself. As a public school teacher, I was live all of the time with the students, but it wasn't like something that I put on YouTube. And then I was having a little laugh to myself because on YouTube back in 2015, I think it was, I created Miss Casella's Classroom, and I put a lot of thought into Miss Casella's Classroom. There was a focus on social emotional learning and stories. They took no time for me to read, and they got way more views than any of the math videos that I made. And the math videos took me a very long time because I was targeting it for all learners, especially when I was doing decimals and working with the number 0. And so I actually thought about taking those down, and I'm glad I kept them up. And I remember one of my friends, when I first was making them, I was feeling a bit insecure about it. And he was like, these are just going to be some fun, hokey videos someday that you look back on. And he's right. It's 2024 right now. So it's already been almost 10 years. So, wow, I'm just realizing how much I've come. And like I said, I never thought I would make YouTube videos with Cooking with Gina, and I never thought I would make videos in Miss Casella's Classroom. I have a lot of experience working as a facilitator for my union, my old union now, because I resigned, for the British Columbia Teachers Federation. So you know how teachers on Pro D days, the kids get to stay home, but the teachers, they still have to go to school. Well, they would have phenomenal speakers, and I had the privilege of becoming one of them. And so I'm taking all those high quality items with me forward. And I was fortunate enough to get experience with the Langley Teachers Association. I was one of their best Pro D chairs. I was the district professional development chair for the Langley School District. And I've never done anything like that in my life. I really enjoyed leadership, and I still enjoy leadership, but for what it's worth, I like to bow out of those kind of things. I like to just show up as a speaker these days, and I just like to say my 2 cents. And as far as facilitating goes, well, that's where my RTT sessions come in. And so I'm actually offering a program. It's a 12-month program called the Intensive Transformational Beauty Prayer Program, and I've added all kinds of bonuses, including a bonus month. So it's actually a 13-month program, and I wasn't hung up on an end result, and I was rewriting my little presentation, and it transformed basically into like this full disclosure. And so I'm probably going to make a video of that on Monday or Tuesday, so I hope you tune in and watch. It might scare some of you away. It might attract some of you, but it's going out to my soul tribe. So I know that they'll get it. And I have a feeling that that's you, because you're tuning into this. And I'm really excited to get that started. And I know that you've been waiting for this program. You've just been like begging the universe, like, where is this program? And it's here, folks. It's really here. So like hummingbird, we can never prepare ourselves for the flight. So duality is like so in our faces, right? Because not being prepared is being prepared, right? And the only way we can develop our wings is by taking the flight. And taking the first step in anything, I've come to learn, is the hardest step, the hardest step. And so I'm just wondering, how has hummingbird shown up in your life? What first step have you taken that was the hardest step? And I'd love for you to let me know in the comments. And I'm also wondering what career and experiences you've had in the past, and what high quality items are you taking with you forward? Because as we forge our ways of knowing forward, we shed our snake skins and we leave it all behind. And as we alchemize, we constantly alchemizing into that fine wine. And so I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments. So I just did a little taste test, not really for taste, but just to check out the texture. My macaroni noodles, they're about halfway cooked. The potatoes, they're pretty much where I want them to be. So when this baby is ready, I'm just going to get busy and add my ingredients. And so I want to show you what ingredients I'm using first. I'm using Earth Balance. It's soya free and it's also vegan. It also happens to be gluten free. I'm not on a gluten-free diet, but I know a lot of folks out there are. So I'm going to be adding a lot of butter to this because that's basically my sauce. I'm also going to be adding some garlic powder, and I'm using No Name. So I love garlic powder. I pretty much put it in everything. And I've got my my heavy salt here. Aurora kosher salt. I find kosher salt, it's new to me. I find it to be very tasty, and it's a nice change from sea salt. I'm wondering about you. In my dream kitchen, I've just got all these salts and oils and vinegars and whatnot. So it all starts with imagining, right? So Rosie and I were going to get that condo by the beach. And I love cooking with lots of different oils as well, but I usually cook with canola oil, or I'll deep fry with it, and then I'll pan fry stuff with olive oil. But anyways, want to let you know as well, black peppercorn. So once it's time to strain my noodles, everything's going to happen fast when I strain my pasta and my noodles. The salt and the pepper, I'm going to add that last for taste. But it's really important that I get busy with the garlic powder so it can melt in there, as well as my butter. And soon-ish, I'm going to add the peas. So I'm wondering what you like to drink with your dinner. I like to drink hot teas with dinner, or I like to drink wine, pop, or just like my tea water here that I call it. And I love all kinds of tea, but I just like good old orange pekoe. Usually I buy Tetley tea, but Red Rose is what's in the cupboard. So again, I'm not being endorsed by these products, just letting you know what I use. So try to be a little bit strategic, as flexible as I like to be in the kitchen. I also like to have a little bit of strategy. So my water, my pasta and peas, pasta and potatoes are almost ready, so I can add the peas. So it's a good time for me to start boiling water for my tea. So just did another taste test, not really for taste, but for texture. And it's time to add my peas. So I just dump them right in the water. And the thing is, when you're adding frozen vegetables, it's like adding ice cubes to the water. So it's a good idea just to bring it back up to a boil. And then basically once the peas are ready, the pasta is ready. So when it's time to strain it, I'll come back on. Maybe you wanted to get a little peek first. So if you wanted to transform this into a soup, you totally could. But in this moment, I'm not. So my water's at a full boil again, so I'm gonna reduce it to 7, and it just needs like another minute or 2 to cook the peas. So the peas are cooked. I'm going to strain it. I've washed my bowl here, so it's ready for me to pour some dinner in. When I strain the peas, I'm intentionally going to leave some water in here because that's part of my sauce. So I'm just going to do that now. So how much water am I leaving? I don't know. I just want to make sure that it's not like a soup. So I've strained it, and I think I'm going to just dump a bit more water out here. So beautiful colors. Usually I would say remove from heat and keep off the heat, but because I want to get the butter melted in there, this element is off, but the element is still nice and hot. So, well, still getting used to the camera in the kitchen. So how much butter am I using? I don't know, this much. And like I said, I intentionally want to add a lot. I want to add my garlic powder. How much garlic powder? This much. You just add to your own taste. I'm noticing that my water is boiling for my tea. I'm just going to leave this alone for a moment. And I don't know if you can relate, but when it comes to tea and adding your tea bag, I always add the tea bag last. Why? Because one time I thought I was all being strategic and I had the tea bag in my cup of tea at the time. And when I poured the water in, it just bounced right off. And that happened multiple times to me. So I thought, okay, boil the water and then add your tea bag. So I think I taught too much kindergarten, primary in my career because I'm like, oh, alliteration, pasta, potatoes, peas. So I'm worried if I bring the camera closer, it might get knocked down again. But here it is. And it's just a very beautiful dish. And I'm actually going to add even more butter to it. And I can't say it enough. This vegan butter, it doesn't melt like non-vegan butter, but that's okay. So the starch from the pasta, the starch from the potatoes, it all kind of marries and adds its own flavor. If I had herbs, I could put it in here, but I just wanted to honor pasta, potatoes, and peas for what it is. And so I just want to show you when I stir it around that you can see, maybe you can't see some of the water in there. I remember years ago when I was a kid, I would babysit for like dirt cheap, and a lot of parents, they would leave Kraft Dinner for me to make their kids. And I was stressed out about it because I couldn't seem to like, it would just be on the dry side. And then I just one day realized, if I like add the cheese that it comes with right away, and there's a little bit of water in there and I keep it on the element, it really comes together. And definitely adding some butter as well. And speaking of Kraft Dinner, what is the vegan version of Kraft Dinner? What do folks out there do? Is Kraft Dinner vegan? I don't think so, but maybe it is. Let me know in the comments. So my favorite part is the serving and eating part. So Usually I just add the salt, pepper. If I was having chili pepper, I would add that here as well. But I'm just going to add it to my bowl individually. And if you look in the pot here, you can see what I'm talking about. So it's intended to be like that. That's all the good stuff. And Rosie just walked by. I don't know if you saw her, but today's Friday, and I call Friday pizza tuna night. Sometimes it's Saturday. Even if we don't have pizza or tuna, it's still called that. I stopped feeding Rosie tuna because I didn't realize canned tuna is not good for cats, just the way that it's processed. I'm wondering if you can relate. So she has special wet food that she's enjoying while I'm enjoying this. So I'm just adding some salt and pepper, and you just add to what you like. And it is piping hot. Like I said, normally I would add Parmesan cheese, but keeping with the vegan ways of knowing, I'm not doing that. And I'm wondering, what is the Parmesan cheese substitute? I want a little bit of potato, a little bit of pasta, a little bit of peas. Here's your bite. Really, really good. And the skin on the potatoes adds a nice texture too. So thank you so much for watching Cooking with Gina. My name is Gina Virginia Casella. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Gina Virginia Casella. And I'd love for you to join my Facebook group, Present Moment Alchemy. And take care. We'll see you next time.